Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is. Well, welcome back. I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time. I've got a couple things happening this week that I think you'll be interested in. One of which is we have 5 times August. There will be, Brad is the lead singer of that group. Actually, he's the lead singer of the group, but it's, he'll be in studio with me tomorrow. And, well, I'm not going to waste a lot of time on, because our guest is waiting for us. But I wanted you guys to see something before I bring them on, which I thought was interesting. I am an anti-Semite, and it's really bad. So Kyle Clark, I just put it up there for you guys, put up another example of anti-Semitism out in the open in politics. Tina Peters' ally and MAGA podcaster Joe Oltmann blames Satan Jews for imprisoning Peters. Governor Polis, AG Weiser, DA Rubenstein, and Secretary of State Griswold. They didn't even mention the fact that I put in Matthew Barrett, but they knew that Matthew Barrett was not Jewish. Interesting. Oltmann then repeats his call for executions by hanging. So in this, I said that if you missed it last week, Tina Peters sits in prison for another Thanksgiving as we sit on the massive pile of proof that Dominion and their minions stole the election for decades. They have been selectively stealing your voice, enslaving you in a system designed to take from you what was never theirs to take. Jared Polis, traitor. Phil Weiser, traitor. Dan Rubenstein, traitor. Jenna Griswold, pig and traitor. Matthew Barrett, I don't know where the Jorge came from. Pedophile and traitor. The synagogue of Satan Jews stick together as traitors to our nation, to the people of Colorado. They have robbed Tina of her life, the citizens of Colorado, their dignity, and hidden in plain sight a company of demons, Dominion. It started with Eric Coomer at Sequoia Voting Systems, the chief architect in 2005. Now here we are, rotted judges operating as cartel henchmen, steal the lives of others and lie and cheat with impunity. They are traitors. They deserve to be tried for treason in military tribunals and hang. They are irredeemable and disgusting, and they had many, and they and many others must pay. So he says that I'm a anti-Semite. So I wanted to bring that attention to you because then right after that, his partner in crime, a guy that a couple of years ago went after me pretty hard. His name is Ross Kaminsky. Ross blocked me. By the way, both of them blocked me. Both of them won't have a conversation with me. There's no conversation to be had because they know that I'm right. By the way, you do not cut the tongue out of the person that is lying. You cut the tongue out of the person that is telling the truth. And I have spent the last 5 years telling the truth. But Ross put up this. I've long known that at Joe Oltmann X was unhinged and narcissistic, but now I know he's a Nazi too. Joe, if you have proof you've long claimed to have, show it. So I said, I dislike godless atheists. That was what he called himself, by the way, when I had a coffee with him a couple of years ago. They lie so easily. I mean, there's no incentive for them not to be shitbags. No consequences in their mind. I had breakfast with this clown a few years ago where he apologized for being a piece of shit. In the middle of the conversation, he bragged about not believing in God. As I looked at him, it became hard to ignore the flat evil in his eyes. Guy's a demon. Then again, most like him are. So I figured I'd just, put that out there for old Ross. Ross works for iHeartMedia for KOA. So I plan on making him the butt of my jokes for at least the next couple of months. I'm not going to waste a lot of time. We have a guest that's here with us today. And Tommy is joining us. So Tommy, I'll bring you in first. Who are we talking to today? We're talking to Joe. I like his name already. Huh? Joe, I'm just going to bring you in because it sounds like you're a mafia boss. But Joe, welcome to the show.
Listen, those allegations are grossly Unproven. We'll leave it at that.
Unproven. But we don't know who runs the world yet, so that might still be true.
I think
You know, there was a rumor that was probably started by Tommy and I that Tommy and I founded Patriot Front. But
oh yeah, that was the first time we ever spoke. Yeah,
that remains a rumor. Unconfirmed.
I forgot about that. That's still going. Yeah,
You guys started Patriot Front, huh?
Yeah, I think it was 2020.
I'm a little nervous to be on this podcast with you right now.
No, it's okay. I think we called it Patriot Front Pride or Gay Pride or something, and then somebody from there emailed me and said that the leader wanted to talk to me, and so I said, okay, when do you want to do it? And I kept pinging them in response, and they never responded to me. I don't think they were expecting yes, and I think since then that leader has gone on multiple podcasts. He still won't respond to me though. I don't know, but he reached out to me, and I said yes, and he's just, he's playing hard to get. He's been playing with my heart for 3 years, and I'm not dealing with it well.
Well, I mean, if you guys started it, then you're just talking to yourselves.
Well, I think what we had said was like Patriot Front's going to email me and it's going to say like sent from my iPhone from Quantico. I think that was the joke.
Like, hey man, you got to be careful. We're coming for you. Okay, bro.
And they emailed me in like a couple hours after that show. Like it never, and I was like, all right, awesome, let's do it. And they just ghosted me. And they've been, they're total tease.
Well, Joe, tell everybody about you.
Well, I am the author of the Tactical Wisdom series, which is a book, a series of books on preparedness with a biblical slant to it. It starts from the very basic and works up through the series to more advanced skills. My most recent book is a first aid manual, but it's not like all the others. It's a 1800s first aid manual because that might be the only medical care you're getting is whatever you can do with you and your guys in the field. So I'm working on the sixth book now. And I am a co-host on a show in the mornings called The Council on Future Conflict, where we talk about the next conflict that's around the corner and how it could impact your life and what you need to be prepared for.
Are we talking about the zombie apocalypse? Is that what we're talking
zombie
about?
Apocalypse, totally. It's going to be Venezuelan zombies, but it is a zombie apocalypse nonetheless.
Joe, have you seen the Venezuelans practicing? Like, I think I could shoot them with
yes.
I think I could take them out with a powder gun.
So I'm an instructor in Tung Sudo, and when Maduro's brother did his little martial arts form there and said he's going to use his martial arts to fight the Americans, unless we send 6-year-olds who just got their yellow belt, he's going to lose. And they've got some.
I mean, the Iraqis look better prepared than they do.
Oh yeah. They got some women who are in fine shape in their militias. The one that's round, that is a fine shape. But I do recommend, just as Mr. Guns and Gear did, that we offer a visa to the blonde girl holding the Romanian AK in that latest video. She can come here. She
alone. Yeah.
Like I said, mob boss, bro. Mob boss. Bring her in.
You know, there's an important question out of that last video of their militias getting armed. And it said, would you rather have the folding stock Romanian AK or the folding stock FNC rifle that is in the pictures? And that's a tough call. That's really a tough call.
I remember when I was overseas, somebody handed me a AK-47, looked like it'd been run over by a truck. And they're like, okay, you have to run this course. I was like, okay. And I remember the stock basically almost falling off, and you had to shoot these targets. And everyone says that every gun shoots straight. I'm not sure that's real. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's a real thing.
For my money, there's not a better vehicle fighting gun than an underfolding AK. Great gun, but not all of them. They're not all created equal. So.
Well, I want to go back and I want to talk to you about a few things that have been happening as you start talking about this next wave of warfare. Mm-hmm. We had a National Guardsman that was murdered and in cold blood by a person that Biden let in. And you know, it's impossible to ignore the gravity of the ineptitude, because it would have to be done on purpose. Like, no one in their right mind would do this by accident. Like, it would, even the dumbest among us would not do this if you weren't trying to hurt people in your country. I How do we square that? And why don't we have, how are we not better prepared in DC for something like this? I mean, they would just walk in the street with no weapons.
Well, the problem is that National Guardsmen were carrying the SIG 320, the M17 handgun. And because of that, they are not allowed to carry with a round in the chamber because it has a nasty habit of going off all by itself. And when you look at the one iconic image from the video, the one soldier running away, trying to rack the slide on this pistol as this man is shooting his friends, that tells you why you should never carry with an empty chamber. And I think that they should have been better prepared. This tells me we learned nothing from Beirut in 1983 when we weren't allowed to carry hot weapons at the checkpoints. And because of that, Hezbollah drove right on through and bombed the barracks. So we absolutely should be better prepared in Washington, D.C., of all places. And for the liberals who say the National Guard should never be deployed on our streets, I'm sorry, that's exactly what the National Guard is for. That is where they should be deployed. They shouldn't be deployed to Ramadi or Kandahar. They should absolutely be deployed on our streets.
So we carrying dry, you brought up Beirut, which is a great example. Also, as another example is the American barracks in Saudi Arabia that was just blown to smithereens in the middle of
towers. Yeah.
So you're everywhere we've turned, we've seen the ineptitude of the security apparatus, and we haven't learned from it. If you go back 5 decades, 6 decades, it doesn't matter. We deal with the same ineptitude, which means that we're not learning from it, except for we put checkpoints at, airports and try to make people feel safe when they get on flights. But we're not there. There's no, you cannot bring cancer into or bring death into your camp and expect it not to cause death.
Yeah, and the problem is these people come from a country where there are no written records kept. If you ask 10 Afghans when they were born, they don't know. They're not positive on the exact date. So how do I run a guy's name and date of birth when they're not even positive themselves? And record keeping throughout the country is very different depending on which region you are in. How can I vet this guy when he has 3 different names that he goes by? You can't. You can claim you did all you want, but you really can't vet these people and know their connections. They have different ways of moving money, different ways of speaking to each other that we can't track and trace. Vetting them is just virtually impossible.
We know that there's a problem, Tommy. I mean, we know there's a problem. It's not like they don't know. It's not like they don't know that we have this threat in our country. Why are we not doing something about it? Why are we just sitting on our hands?
In my opinion, pretty cynically, I think the last administration probably looked at it as, this is purely my opinion, as a win-win-win-win no matter what. I mean, one, they want to be the whole open borders thing. Look, everybody come in, kumbaya, anything you need, we'll give you. The other is, right, if there's no voter ID, you just unlock the borders. You can put them in any state where you need votes conveniently. And then lastly, I think no matter what, it's probably viewed as a win by the most evil among us to let them in. Because what if they do something? What if they do a terrorist attack? I wouldn't exactly say, and this is obviously not indicative of everyone, but I think historically that the people in power in the United States like that. We like a reason to go back somewhere, to go kick in a door somewhere. It's what a war economy does. I think that I don't necessarily know if that is the reason. I think it's probably for the previous ones, the hey, look at us, open borders, we love you, come in, as well as voting. And I think as like an asterisk, they'd be like, yeah, and if they blow something up, oh no, we don't like war. And it's like that's bullshit. We'd like to use any reason, and legitimate or not. I don't think that's what it was planned to be, but I think that was probably viewed as like, yeah, if that happens, we'll go invade somewhere. It seems kind of like a win.
Well, I think that's my issue, is that we talk about the stolen elections. We talk about the fact that we have loose immigration that caused massive numbers of people to come in that were doing harm to the American people. We talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and there's little to no action that is actually taken in order to purge these problems from our country. We didn't get rid of machines or mail-in ballots yet. We're heading into the 2026 election. I saw Fox News put out an article that says that this special election will be a test for whether or not the Republicans can hold power in 2026. It basically is signaling that they're going to let the same thing happen over and over again. And everyone sniffs around and stays away from the problem and just talks on the edges, but never, ever associates or gets to the place where they actually solve the problem.
You know, another aspect to this is that a terrorist attack, just as Tommy said, if it happens, it happens. It enables more draconian measures. It enables more license plate readers, facial recognition scanners. It enables us to take away more and more rights and reduce freedom, making it a little bit harder for people to do things and live their life privately. It enables things like digital ID. It enables things like location tracking and different things like that. It's just ushers in all sorts of things. So I think they're probably like, shucks, another attack? Darn. It enables me to do a few more things.
Yeah, we got to go invade this country, or it's, well, look what happens when you can carry a gun, and hiding it. Therefore, we need X-ray scanners on every street corner of every city. That way, you won't be able to sneak up and shoot somebody. That's exactly how we weren't tracking this guy's location. He said he had PTSD from being part of the CIA. Well, we're going to continue to let him in, regardless of vetting. I don't care how violent they are, but in order to also vet them, we need to track them at all times, in all places. And so the only way to do that is to also track you in all times, in all places. And I'm surprised it wasn't a 3D printed gun, honestly, if we're just going to go that far down.
Right.
I'm surprised it wasn't a 3D printed gun from Palmetto State Armory with Phoenix ammunition and it had a Bible quote on it. They haven't gone that far yet. But I mean, and again, whether or not it's planned or whether it's just seen as, and if it happens, we can restrict civil liberties further. I don't think it's that absurd to assume that that's in the calculus. These are these are evil people. Like, we know that.
So here's another thing that you guys should know. The person that was arrested, what was his name again? He giving this guy even an ounce of air.
Rhymes with Ramadan. I don't know, something like that.
Or somebody said the guy with the Star Wars name.
Yeah. Let me see here. The Afghani, right? Hold on, I'll find it here in a second. Lackenwall.
Yeah.
Here's the issue that we have. When he was arrested and they went to book him, guess what race they gave him?
White. Yeah. No, I saw that. He's white. He's a white guy.
And he's not white.
Yeah, he's a white guy from Afghanistan that we hired to do. I guess
it does two things. It skews the numbers, but also I sometimes have a little bit of sympathy for this because a lot of the law enforcement systems back in the day, I don't know about now, but they didn't have an option for Middle Eastern. But you would think now they would. So I think that's what they lean on for that. And a lot of people might say, but our guy won, so we don't have to worry about this anymore. Your guy won, but he's not in charge of the actual shadow government that makes these kind of decisions.
Yeah.
Remember, he famously told them to leave Syria, and we have yet to leave Syria. So
yeah, that's like, it's like the people who was like, JFK should have just dissolved the CIA. He is the president. I heard somebody say that. It might have been on my show recently. They're like, the CIA can't have killed Kennedy. That's illegal. And I was like, I mean, come on. Like, you can't do that. Why would they do that? That's not fair. Yeah, it's not to be a doomer, but yeah, I don't think that much is a surprise to anyone. But I mean, hopefully, and unfortunately, Trump has been a lot of he's done a decent amount, but a lot of it does still seem like talk. But right, didn't he recently say, or at least after the shooting, that they're going to completely halt immigration from third world countries? And I think he said, if I could, I would denationalize them. I hope he does. I hope he grows a pair and remembers that they tried to blow his head off last summer. What else do you have to lose? I think he's forgotten that already, which is a little disappointing.
But why? Why the lack of action? This whole weekend I've been sitting here going through it in my mind, trying to figure out, okay, so why would you, if you were a sane person, why would you not just make a quick decision, steer the ship to the right, steer the ship to the left, and make sure that you eliminated the risk altogether? Why not do that?
if you were to flow chart it, you would say, well, he's not going for re-election. He's already been president once. They stole the election, then they raided his house, and then they tried to put him in jail, and then they tried to shoot him several times. He somehow won the election through the grace of God. He can't run again. He's in his 80s. He's already a multi-billionaire. What else does he have to lose? I mean, at a certain point, you'd have
Why run for office to begin with then?
Well, this is my
Right? I
point.
mean,
this is my
nobody in the
point.
right mind would put up with this. I personally would rather jump off a bridge than be involved in politics, just so you know.
Correct. So there's two conflicting forces pushing
not jumping off a bridge.
whatever rational explanation you use. There is no reason to get into it selfishly. So it seems like, okay, he actually wants to help the country. On the other hand, if you just look at what he is doing now or not doing, and you look at where he is in his 80s, billionaire, can't run again, what do you have to lose? And they tried to kill you in front of your family. They did do to Kirk what they wanted to do to you. You are either inept, you're either complicit, or there's a third option of you're still biding your time to do something. I don't know what, but I'm very hesitant to say 5D chess. But if it's not that, if it's not the third, which is you're biding your time to do something, it's one of the first two. You are either complicit or you are inept. That's my 2 cents. What, Dolio?
I think he's always been too trusting of the people he appoints into his roles. He gets a lot of bad advice, and he can't control every single aspect. So somebody says, hey, I know a guy who's just perfect for this job. And then they turn out to do the exact opposite of what they said we're going to do. Kash Patel being an example.
Yeah.
Bondi. I mean, he puts a lot of faith and trust in the recommendations of his friends, and they might not always have the same interests at heart that he does. And I think that's the thing. I think it's still, he thinks the world should work the way that it used to work, and it just doesn't.
Yeah. But even then, it's like, I don't think he's a stupid guy. At a certain point, but at a certain point, it's like, okay, let's say he's done this. If we can look at it and say he's been too trusting, I mean, come on, he's done one term, and he's almost a year into a second term. At what point are you stupid, complicit, or waiting? Just be very honest. Like, at a certain point, what is the explanation?
At some point, we need a result. Yeah.
At some point, I mean, is there a fourth? Is he being, drugged and he's under hypnosis by a wizard? I mean, I'm not trying to but at a certain point, which one is it? Which one is it? If it was his
aliens,
first,
man, always the alien.
Yeah, if it was the first 6 months of its first term, you could say he's brand new. He's thinking about re-election. If it's going into the second one, you could be like, doesn't want to sound too crazy. If he did anything the last 4 years, you'd be like, all right, he realizes that they're going to steal the election, so he has to be as popular as possible. I mean, hurdle after hurdle after hurdle. It's like they stole the election. They released a bioweapon. They destroyed the country in 2020. They tried to blow your head off in front of your family. What now? What now?
How do you not? And this is the part. I mean, Joe, look. Tell me, or we're already at war. I mean, we're already in the middle of a war. You'd be crazy not to be able to see it. So why have we not just taken and just ripped the Band-Aid off and said, okay, accuse me of whatever you want. Accuse me of tyranny. Accuse me of, of being a dictator. I don't actually care. I'm going to get to the bottom of it, and I'm going to just strip the roots of this rot out.
I wish I had an answer for that, because I don't know why he hasn't done that. He knows that he's at war. He knows that the deep state is resisting him every step of the way. He gives orders. They say, yeah, but, and they don't do it. And I think the best success he's had so far is a better pick for Secretary of Defense or Secretary of War, whatever we call it this week. That was a good choice. But if you look, everyone's dragging their feet on him. And even he had to call all the generals in and say, hey, listen, when I give an order, I really do expect you to follow it. And now we're seeing an exodus of the generals on here. And now we're starting to see senators and representatives and other government officials openly calling for a soft coup. At some point, he does have to take the gloves off, but I can't explain why he has not to this point.
He's either complicit, incompetent.
Yeah, I don't believe he's complicit.
Me neither. And I don't think he's incompetent. So I would say maybe there's a fourth. Are you weak? I don't think he's weak. So the last option, and it's also convenient because this is a way to kick the can down the road, is he's planning something. But how long can you be planning? So maybe let's just play full devil's advocate. I would say that the soft coup, the shooting the Nat Guard, the pearl clutching over killing the narco terrorists that are delivering fentanyl into your country and leaving hundreds of thousands of people with blue lips face down on their kitchen floor every year. If anything, you could argue that this is gonna raise the temperature of people being like, yeah, I don't care, Trump, do whatever you want. Be a king. Maybe it's a brilliant move. I'm very hesitant, just me personally, to call it 5D chess. He's waiting. Something's coming. Something's going. Uh, if there's anything else, if you're waiting for like your DoorDash order and after an hour, you can be like, he's just really, or at a certain point, you're like, hey, dude, this guy's either high and passed out, he's not bringing your order, and they're just waiting to cancel it. Like, at a certain point, like, the guy started, use Occam's razor. What is it?
I mean, we have the Somalis up in the fraud network up in Minnesota. We found out that the governor of Minnesota actually knew it. Tim Walz knew that was happening. He saw budget shortfalls. He saw things that were coming up that were red flags that would have shown that. We saw what happened in Colorado. We've seen what's happened in California. We've seen, like, you can't ignore the fact that these people are inept in doing really bad things. They're a part of this system to destroy our country. Why is it that we can't? Why is it that we can't do something, Joe?
I don't know. I wish I had an answer. And our side is going to be so busy tweeting about it that the moment's going to pass us by. And but look at how good we were by not doing anything. Gosh darn it, we're some good guys. We did a great thing by not reacting.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything anymore. Yeah, that's right. It's like the Stone Toss comic where it's like, yeah, but can you imagine if the roles were reversed and like you're on your knees, hands tied behind your back with a rifle at the back of your head? You're like, the Democrats are the real dictators. It's like, hey man, at a certain point, be what they think you are or don't be. They think you are racist white supremacist dictators. It doesn't matter if you are, if you are not. They think you're the same and they want to kill you. Maybe he's waiting that. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it was all KFAB with Elon, and maybe what they're really doing is he's using Twitter as a real-time poll to be like, if these are accurate numbers, and let's just really pull something out of the hat. There's no bots anymore. It's a real-time straw poll of millions of people in the United States with country of origin verified. I'm going to release a tweet. Hey, Hegseth, tweet this out and say, we're going to kill you all. See how many likes it actually gets. Maybe it's a real-time vote, and he's waiting for it to hit a threshold of 80%, 83%. And when it hits a certain percent, then he's going to say, all right, whatever, start arresting these people. But again, that now sounds insanely complicated. I don't think that's the reason. If it is, he's a genius. I don't know if that's it.
I think that a couple of things should have shown to us the real power of the president of the United States. Donald Trump's first term is the first one. He gave repeated orders that weren't followed. There were different parts of the government that just said, no, we're not doing that. Department of Defense being one. Hey, it's time to withdraw from Syria. Nope, not doing that. CIA, we got to stop this operation. Nope, we're not doing that. But what should really prove to you that the president is not actually in charge of U.S. government was Joe Biden's presidency. Joe Biden wasn't in charge of anything. Joe Biden couldn't pick out his own food, right?
Yeah.
And we find out that all these things were signed by AutoPen. All these different people had input and everything. And now we're back to Donald Trump being in charge and nothing getting accomplished. It's because the executive branch is ran by the administrative state who does whatever they want. They don't care what the elected officials say. They do what perpetuates them. The government has become at this point like a living, breathing organism. And what does every living, breathing organism want? It wants to live. It wants to keep on doing what it's doing. So it's going to continue that, and it's going to resist him at every turn until, as we've been pointing out, he breaks it to his will, which we were all kind of hoping he would do right at the outset, but he has not to date.
Yeah, it's. I mean, he's got to look at it at a certain point and just look at the timelines, look at the possible options, At a certain point, you must realize it will break you, or you must break it. You must domesticate the beast. And listen, it's probably going to be very ugly. And not in the sense of, I'm going to look like a dictator. No, in the sense of, it's going to look brutal. You're going to have to use military force. And they're going to call you a fascist and a whatever. You're kind of at a point where it's like, it's like the die have been cast, right? At a certain point, it's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? There is no solid answer out of this.
You know what we should do as a group, the three of us? We should take a field trip to the Deep State Museum. Remember when they were going to close on day one, the FBI, and turn it into a museum to the Deep State?
Yeah.
Let's go there. I'm sure that's probably going to be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that didn't happen?
No, it didn't happen.
In fact, it's been expanded. Oh.
What?
Yeah. So
back to complicit, incompetent, or he's waiting.
Come on, man. This is not 12,000 degree chess.
Yeah.
This is not 12,000 degree. I mean, I don't care about the cue bullshit. I don't care about any of that stuff.
So
listen to me. I'm a real man. Somebody walks through my gate and tries to act like they're going to do harm. I'm going to put them down like a dog, right? If you come for my neighbor, I'm going to put you down like a dog. If you come for the people in my community, I'm going to put you down like a dog. Why is it that we won't put these guys down like dogs? That's what they are. These are really bad people. And yes, to your point, Joe, carrying around the P320, which by the way, it's a fallacy. Yeah, if it can wear down, you put 10,000 rounds through a gun. I have 3 stores, 5 ranges. The P320 is not the problem. Maintaining the gun is definitely a problem, right? So we found, and this is my problem with the military, is that they just won't do the hard work, right? They won't do the hard work. The guy in Wyoming, that the P320, they said shot him in the chest by accident when he laid it down. Turns out they had a fight and he shot him in the chest, right? It had nothing to do with the fact that the gun was broken. But
splitting hairs, though. What is
they quietly released that correction, right?
Yeah, quietly.
Oh, by the way, we charged that guy. Oh, wait, for what? Oh, well, he just shot him.
Yeah.
but forget the P320. Put him down like a dog. So what is it? Why is he not? It's something you can't really like move past from. You
can listen. Our conscience is the thing that actually holds us hostage. Our conscience.
So then it's weakness.
No, it's guilt. So there's a guilt complex over good people.
Hesitance. We'll call it hesitance. Why is he not?
Hesitance means you'll eventually get to it.
Then why is he not acting?
Going to get to it.
Not you. I'm asking Trump. Why? Or I'm asking you what you think. What is the reasoning then? Are you compromised? Are you incompetent? Are you weak and your conscience is hurting you, or is there a plan?
No, I think that there's I think there's an option you're not understanding.
Okay.
And that is, let's hypothetically say you're Indiana Jones and you just fell in the pit and you're surrounded by snakes. You cannot escape the lack of loyalty. The number of Brutuses that are around President Trump right now is innumerable. You can't number them. Look, I was in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. Okay. I was downstairs. I was in Mayor Giuliani's room. We're having a conversation. Christina Bob's there. Someone I didn't know was there. His handler, or whoever that was, is there. Handler meaning just somebody that did stuff for him, went and got his coffee, whatever, right? I'm sitting there listening. I look around. And for the first time, I said, I get it. The reason why you can't get things done is that you guys don't have enough. And it's not Mayor Giuliani. It's the problem. It's the fact that there's no cohesion. There's no cohesion from people saying, all right, let's get together. We're all doing it the right deal. Because if you could cut with a knife, the amount of people just wanted to be in the room and they wanted power. They wanted money. And you could see it. Literally see it. I went to another meeting. Same thing. The amount of people that just wanted to be relevant. Not work the problem, but relevant. Mark Meadows kept me from visiting President Trump. John Eastman, who said he got up on the stage at Ellipsis. He's like, this is what happened. I'm the one that briefed him. What he said on that stage was all information that he got from me, right? And the reality of it is that I want to run away from it, Joe. I want to get as far away from this as possible. Look, if you took me off the stage and you said, Joe, I just go live over there and just do your thing and live out the rest of your life, the only thing that stops me from doing that is my conscience. But that's the same thing that literally grips He's thinking, what's the media going to say? You can't fire we had this conversation earlier. You can't fire Fauci, even though you hate the guy. You can't fire him because you don't have the authority to fire him. Everything is a stop. Every decision that he makes today, someone is going to overrule him before he even gets to the starting line.
So then why would he just give up, though?
It comes down to, do you go, it can't be done, I'm in the pit of snakes? Do you go, it's so rotted through that if I try to do anything and make any headway, they'll just detonate a nuke in the US and I don't want to sacrifice millions of people. Whatever the explanation is. Maybe you say, hey, maybe a deep state dictatorship, maybe that kills 1 million people a year. But if I fight back, they're going to release a hydrogen bomb in LA and New York and kill 100 million. You do the arithmetic and go, I'll let it be a totalitarian dictatorship and kill 2 million instead of 1 billion. Whatever the reasoning is, though. Okay, it's completely rotted through. No one can help you. You're in a pit of stakes. There's no loyalty. Okay, well, then it's all for naught. You're in your second term. You're in your 80s. Go out with a Hail Mary. Get on Twitter and say, hey, it's rotted through. Buy ammo. But do something. I'm not saying it's even a good answer. Do something. The answer can't be there's no loyalty. If it is the answer, do something. And if you don't, then it's weakness. Well, it's all rotted through. I'm just going to do nothing. I'm going to wring my hands and quietly. Okay. I don't know that. I'm not president. I don't know what that burden is. Fine. But there has to be a reason and an answer for what you're doing. And I don't see one. The only thing I can come up with is weakness or fear. And
Tommy, it sounds suspicious to me like you're not trusting the plan, bro.
Go so far as to maybe say that. So I'm a guy that voted for him twice. Like I'm not. I'm,
3 times.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you?
I
But
voted for him 3 times.
so then, what is let's take worst case scenario ever. It's all rotted through. You have evidence that there's a nuclear bomb in 50 states that's going to go off if you do anything. Then if that's your reasoning, okay, make peace with your creator and go, hey, God, this is why I'm letting it set up into a digital dictatorship hellscape. Okay. But what is it?
But let's talk about the flip side of this, though. The other side of it is not President Trump. The other side of it is the rest of us. Why do the rest of us not act? It's fear, right?
Correct.
Everyone is like, well, if I do anything, they're going to arrest me and I'm going to lose my good job. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to watch Netflix. The next season of Boobs comes out next week and I'm going to watch that instead of doing anything. And it really irritates me when we see an attack on a train and all these able-bodied men just sit there and allow it to happen. Or we have a shooting and everyone stands there and watches these people bleed out. Even if you don't have medical skills or the ability to defend someone, go hold their hand while they die and let them know they're not alone. But we have to get past that, and that might enable some bigger actions, some bigger bravery on a bigger scale.
I think that's what it is. You're going to have people start doing it on their own, or you're going to have people like us doing deductive reasoning and going, there is no good answer, but nonetheless, the answer results in nothing's going to get done. And they're going to quietly, you're just going to hear less from them. And it's as they take their loved ones and they go off into a secluded area and go, this is where it's eventually going. So I'm going to go get I'm going to go get ammunition and fresh water now. Or you're going to have people start to say, it's screwed no matter what. We're going off a cliff. In 5 years, I'm going to be in a camp anyway. So I might as well go out and do what is just. No good answers. But where is it going? And if nothing happens, myself included, it implies weakness. It's not stupidity, because we're all reaching these deductive reasonings that something's not happening and something needs to be happening. If we don't do anything, then it's weakness on his part and it's weakness on our part. Now, this is very legally getting close to me calling for violence, which I must legally say I am not. But
hold on, you can't say that violence is not the answer.
I didn't say that.
Didn't say that either, but taking action doesn't always mean violence, right?
I didn't say any of that. I did not say that either. I'm just playing
I'm not saying it.
I'm just historically
not saying it.
Historically, history unravels through friction.
Yeah.
Just as an observation. As somebody that's been visited by the FBI before, Leave it.
Over the grand course of history, the times that we're living in is the bubble and the rarity, right? Conflict, strife, civil disorder is more the order of the day than not. In the post-World War II order, we've had a lucky run, but it is a lucky run.
Yeah, it's the meme, right? It's the picture of the suburbs, and it's like, this is not the norm, and it's a picture of some like Russian APC going through mud, and it's like, this is the norm. It might just be that. It might be a statistical thing that it seems like forever from 45 till now, but that's a bubble. There's a little tiny blip in all of human history, and maybe we're just returning to the norm. Okay. Well then, which flows back to, so we know that. We're reasoning that. How do we prevent that? Which then comes down to incompetence, weakness, or complicity. Or the fourth is you're planning. There are no good answers.
Like a dog with a bone.
I'm just saying there are no good. What is the answer?
Well, I can tell you what the answer is.
No, I'm with you.
I can tell you what the answer is, and you're not going to like what the answer is. And men have to start being like men. And President Trump, you say it's weakness. And I want to point this out. The people that we see on TV, the people that we see that are influencers, those aren't real men. Those aren't real men. Those are boys. Those are boys that are more concerned with following, right, and looking important than they are with doing the right thing that needs to be done. They sniff asses just like everybody else. And the people that come out and actually talk about the way things should be, which is President Trump, in large part, I do it, you do it. Those people get sidelined. Those people get the you're a Nazi, right? And as if it's going to make me back down at this point. But we ignore the things that are right in front of us. We know that they stole the election in 2020, and we debate the ridiculous. We debate it. We let them have space. We let them speak. We let them throw their little protest. We let them take shots at people on our side without just literally breaking their faces wide open. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not calling for violence. I'm saying that if you fuck around, you should find out.
I think you're right.
I'm a biblical guy. What's that?
To them that they could literally get caught stealing an election, red-handed. All the evidence was there, and nothing would happen.
Because all they had to say is we didn't do it. I'm like, oh, that's it. Oh, show us the proof. Can't get into the fucking system. So how are you going to show them the proof? And you got a piece of shit that for 20 years literally was at the helm, chief architect, who's a math genius, who came out of school, and it matches perfectly with what happened in the elections. And they're like, we don't even know what you're talking about. It's just not.
There is no other answer than Trump needs to use the heavy hand of armed forces to clean the nation. It's
armed
just
forces. Just sign the Insurrection Act. I said F word like 6 times, and I'm so sorry.
Okay. And what does that imply? What is that? Signing a bill doesn't magically do it.
It's the elf word.
Okay, but you do have to use armed forces, because signing an insurrection really doesn't mean anything. It has to be backed up by men with guns and weapons. It's just what it is.
Yeah, but the Insurrection Act does make it legal.
Makes it absolutely
but
legal.
I'm saying is signing it doesn't make it do anything. I'm talking about the real physical reality. No, it's guys with guns. It's the same way that a sign that says gun-free zone means nothing.
You have weak pukes. You have weak pukes that are in our government. Weak pukes. Right? They're all weak people. These are super weak people that use the strength that we have in certain areas against us. Right? And you have weak people controlling strong people against strong people. And President Trump sits there and he's trying, bro. I mean, this is the part that I get just irritated about, is that he literally keeps saying over and over again, fight. I want to see you guys fight. President Trump's asking for somebody to step up, so that when he steps out as the greater magistrate, when he steps up and says, hey, I'm going to do this, that he has backing from the people. We're sitting around yanking our puds, talking about what's for dinner. Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, sports ball. The guys who go, hey, did you watch the game this weekend? No, man, I've got much bigger things going on in my country and my life and my concerns than sports ball. So I think that you're onto something. So we like to laugh at the Brits and say, oh, look, they're arresting you. You let them arrest you for a social media post. But we're no better, because we're tweeting away.
Absolutely not. You're right.
we're letting the left go and block law enforcement from leaving their buildings. We're letting the left go and enforce their will against the federal government all they want. And none of us show up to say, we're not going to let you block the entrance to the ICE facility today.
Yeah, look, I'm all about it, bro. I'm all about it. I want to just kick. Man, everything in me wants to love on people on one side, but there's this thing inside of me that just loves the fight. I love to fight evil.
It doesn't even have to be violent. We could just stand there and say, you're not blocking this road today because we're standing here today, and we're going to let them get out. What are they going to do?
They're not going to do anything. But you got to find people. All the people that show up for these ICE deals, they're paid. These are paid protesters, right? Most of us are working.
Yeah,
right?
Nobody wants to risk that job. Yeah.
It's not about risking your job. It's the fact that you got to, I mean, how do we do it every day? How do we get enough people? This is why I say that men are the problem. We're the problem. We could solve this problem real quick. Just get a bunch of us people that frankly grew up just never seeing a fight we didn't like. Just get a bunch of guys like that out there and just bust their heads. But we're too concerned with, we can't even get along about the simplest things. Most Democrats and Republicans believe the same thing. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. This guy, Colonel, whatever his name is, put a post out saying, what is most concerning to you? And I was like, none of that shit is most concerning to us. You know what's most concerning with us? Is that all you guys do is rhetoric. You don't solve one problem. The country is literally heading towards a nosedive. And you guys want to sit here and talk to me about the fact of, is abortion the biggest issue? Maybe. But if I can't get free and fair elections, what even a choice? Let's just have elections that are transparent. Let's try that just once. Maybe
to deploy the military, use the National Guard to do snap elections, and it comes down to eventually you have to do that. Eventually, you have to meet force with force.
Man,
Arrest the judge. Arrest it. I know at this one. You arrest the judges that say you can't do this. If
just get all the judges out. Oh, just get them all out.
If they start surrounding ICE, send in the military and use bullets. At what point do you? Because if you don't, they will. And if you know that civil unrest or dictatorship or civil war is coming, that's going to result in the death of tens of millions of people, and you know that, and you don't do anything less evil than that to prevent it, ideally you'd kill no one. But if it's going to kill 100 million people in the next 10 years, and you can do something that's going to kill 500,000 people, it's shitty you have to kill 500,000 people. But at a certain point, if you know that's coming, and you let that happen, you're no different than being one of the ones orchestrating it. It's an unpopular thing. You're going to have to use the military. You're going to have to do same-day elections with the National Guard and broadcast it on a fucking big screen and say, this is what we're doing, and you can't have multiple ballots, and you can't do it from your phone, and you have to show your ID, and you're going to have to show your Social Security, and it's just what it is.
This is like the Nagasaki and Hiroshima decision, right?
Correct. You're going to have to kill 100,000 civilians, and you're going to save millions.
Look at how many people it's going to save in the long run.
Killed 500,000.
Whatever. It's what it is. It's just...
We killed 20,000 people. No, I think you killed like 500,000 people.
Yeah,
you literally blew up every rice farm, and you basically blew up everything.
Good. Good. And that's what
left.
Ended it. And that the worst war in the world was ended with the two worst weapons, not with a flowery letter. It was ended with the power of the sun, vaporize. I think it was heat so hot that it melted the brains and the skulls before the shockwave disintegrated them. And that's what brought world peace after that. It's just what it is. You can dislike it all you want. It's what it is. You're going to have to deploy the National Guard in every city and do some sort of same-day elections where you're going to have to show your ID, and it's just going to be what it is. Or you cannot do it because you don't want to be called a fascist dictator, and then we can all get shot when we're either put in camps or killed resisting going in camps. Just,
I'm going to be honest. I don't think they're going to wait till 28 to resolve this issue.
No,
the rhetoric that has ramped up in the last 7 days.
So do it.
Yeah.
This is my issue, right? What you just said is my issue. They're not going to wait till 2028. They're already planning what they're going to plan, right? There's more dirty bomb material, by the way, in the world that's disappeared. You could build multiple weapons over and over and over again with what they have, right? And the fact that they're on the street and they have some Afghani that we didn't Yeah, they should have filled that guy with lead. They should have basically air conditioned his head, body, the whole thing. They should have taken their P320s or whatever they had and bashed the guy's skull in. Right. The problem is that we haven't shown them that we're willing to be brutal to the people that are brutal to us. That's the problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, you can't do that. You're the Americans. And I pointed out on Twitter the day that happened. This man meets every definition of an unlawful enemy combatant under the law of war. Not wearing a uniform, not serving a belligerent power. He could have been killed at the point of capture under international law, which is a fallacy, but under the Geneva Convention, he could have been executed on the spot. And we lack the fortitude to do so.
Yeah, it's, again, like dirty bomb material. Let's say Trump knows that no matter what I do, they're going to release at least one dirty bomb in the U.S. Okay, weigh the scales. Whatever's coming, whatever civil war or dictatorship is coming versus that. Come out and say, hey, guys, we're going to do snap elections. I'm going to use the military to clean all this up. They're going to release a couple dirty bombs. A decent number of people are going to die. It's a shit scenario. It's what it is. And I think most people would go, yeah, that does suck, but okay.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Stop weighing everything and just do it. Just do it.
Look, the complexities. The complexities of this are that there are no complexities. That's the complaint. Sometimes the simplest answer, it's like all the engineers in the world get together. A truck goes underneath a bridge, gets stuck, right? It's just, you can't get it out. They pull it one side, pull it down the other, can't get it out. A kid comes by in the car, rolls the window down, 3-year-old kid. It could be 4, it could be anything. This actually did happen. And said, let the air out of the tires. You let the air out of the tires, and now you can pull the truck out. Right? The same concept is what we're dealing with right now. We are in what analysis paralysis. Same thing that happens in businesses that ran Kmart into the ground. Same thing that happened to the businesses, countries. And there were some strategic decisions that were not made. Fear of loss is the one thing. If you operate from, you eventually will lose. Your fear of loss will come true. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you know who doesn't have fear of loss? Soldiers that have like 3 versus 500. There's no fear of loss. They're like, you know what? I'm going home to my family. And even if they don't, somebody's getting out alive. They're going to make sure of it. And that's what we miss. We don't have that. We don't have that sacrificial spirit that captivated societies back in World War II and World War I. We don't have it. We killed off all the bravest among us when they ran onto the beaches in Normandy. That's what happened. And what we have now is a bunch of soy boys that, frankly, they just, and our soldiers want to do the right thing. They come home and have PTSD. Why? Because they look around themselves and they're like, I'm serving a bunch of morons. Pardon my language.
I did that for this. Right.
Exactly. So, being the president, Trump has to choose whatever rationalization or explanation it is. The hypotheticals don't matter. In a couple of years, if nothing's done and he just leaves office and waves and gets on Marine One, what are you going to do now? And
his family is not safe.
They've never been safe. They never will be safe.
Yeah, there's a way to make them safe.
There is a way to make them safe, all right? And it's either going to deploy the military or a bunch of dudes are going to start being vigilantes. There's no good answer. So grab your balls and do it. It's very easy for me to say. It's no matter what, there's going to be violence. And it's just shitty. But we're all, we're talking about all these reasons. Is it fear of loss, or can we cite Hiroshima and Nagasaki, or can we talk about X, Y, and Z? And it's a pit of at a certain point. What is this isn't we're not taking an SAT, and this is a hypothetical question. It's December 1st, 2025. He's been in office for almost a year. They're talking openly about a soft coup and sedition. What are you going to do? I don't care if he cites an ancient Egyptian sun god Ra. Do something.
Is that a real thing?
Yes, that was the sun god Ra.
Ra is a sun god, just so you know, Joe.
I don't care what he cites. Cite the Teletubbies. Do something.
Tiki Wiki bomb.
Tiki Wiki.
That can be the answer. That could be
Tiki
psychological
Wiki.
warfare as you roll Abrams out into DC. I don't care. But at this rate, it seems like he's going to do nothing, no matter what the explanation is.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
Oh,
I think
okay,
he's gonna do something.
then okay, so then that's the conclusion. Is there's a plan? Back to the fourth option.
There is no plan.
Well, then he's
There's no plan.
But you just said he's going to do something.
I say he's going to do something because of something. The absence of nothing is something. Well, something's going to happen.
Well, that's a bullshit loophole answer. Is he doing something and he's planning it, or is he waiting and he's going to flip a coin?
Our entire country has been one big loophole. If you haven't noticed that all the things that we're getting from the courts, loophole.
Okay, but if he's waiting, then is he planning or is he waiting? Is he just going to flip a coin? I'm asking, like, what? Why is he not acting?
Joe
he said he's going to do something.
That question. You're the expert. Shit, what do I know? I've been wrong this whole time. I thought they would do something already.
Exactly. So incompetence, are you a pussy or are you waiting? And if you're waiting, does that imply a plan, or one day you wake up, throw a dart and go, that's what we're doing? That's what I'm at. It's 33, 33, and 33%. Which of the three is it? You have to choose one.
You sound like a Freemason to me.
Well, then be a Freemason. I don't.
I said you sound like a Freemason.
I know that. I know that. Then I'll be a Freemason. But what is the? Because realistically, everything we're arguing now, is something going to happen, or is in 3 years from now we're going to be going? He's got a month left in his presidency. I wonder what is it? Is it complicity, or is he waiting? What are we doing? What is the answer?
If he doesn't do something, he's not going to matter because he's going to get impeached after the 2026 election.
Okay, then why didn't he do something? Back to square one.
Fear of loss.
Okay.
Or the fact that there's too many people that are inside of positions of power that, frankly, are holding down those levers.
So then he's made the calculation that it's less evil to just let it happen. There has to be a reasoning for it.
I think he's waiting for us to do something. I mean, we did something in 2021. We did something spectacular. 2 million people showed up. People overran the entire.
So the commander in chief of the world's largest military is waiting for us to do something.
I don't think
in his second term, where they already tried to blow his head off, and he's now waiting for us. What? How does that?
I didn't say I was right. I just said that's.
No. I'm just saying that. But like, no one wants to result in an answer. Why is nothing happening?
They told him something. Yours says they told him something. Maybe.
Okay, they told him something, which comes back to the answer. Okay, so he has concluded that it is less evil and less damaging to do nothing than it is to do something, which the answer then is cowardice.
Maybe they're just getting pieces in place. I don't think that, but I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I don't.
Joe, what do you think, bro? Come on now, hit me hard.
It's weakness.
I think it's a matter of fear and wanting to survive. He knows that they've tried to kill him, and somebody may have showed him something or made a deal with him or pointed something out, and he's like, look, I'm gonna do some of what I said I was gonna do, but I'm gonna go along to get along, and I'm not rocking the boat any further because they've almost killed me twice.
So then it's weakness.
But you're not going to make his life alive anyway. So,
or you could argue it's complicity.
6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Both of you seem like you don't want it to be one of those. But what is it? If they showed him something that
pussy, I don't think he's a pussy. I think
okay, then he's complicit.
Oh man, you're killing me.
Well, what is it? Why? But Joe, you're always so good about this, about like Coomer, where it's like, hey, let's stop jumping around.
I know it's Coomer. I know it's Coomer. Like I know. I don't think I know. I know it's no. I know.
Okay.
I didn't pick the guy out of a hat. I mean, how do you come up with the guy Coomer? Frankly, nobody knew about Coomer. He was okay.
I'm using that as an example. As in general, you are very good at working the problem. I don't know why you can't right now. What is
because the conclusion I would have to come to would not be favorable to what I think is going on, and I would lose all hope.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
That's fair. That's a fair answer.
But then there's the honest answer.
Yeah.
If something is fucked, and you have to put your fate in the hands of the Lord. That's a fine answer. By the way, that's my answer. I'm not even shitting on you. But be honest about that.
I think when you see the behavior change in all these people when they take office, beginning with Mike Johnson, right? He was going to do all kinds of things. He had a classified briefing with the FBI. They've showed him some videos of him doing some things he didn't want to get out. So all of a sudden, Mike Johnson is now automatically a different person.
So he's complicit or weak.
Dan Bongino. Who's to say this didn't happen with Donald Trump? I'm not saying it's something like that. I'm saying it's they said, look, man, we tried to kill you a couple times. We let you live. We
Okay.
can either stop doing that, or we can go down this path, whichever one you choose.
So it's complicity or weakness. What?
No,
What?
no, I don't think he's weak. All right,
So he's complicit.
you son of a bitch.
And if he's not
Look.
complicit, then there's a plan. But we've agreed that there's no plan.
There's no plan.
This is one of the things about
There's no
Tommy.
plan.
He will not let you not answer this.
But the thing is there's an answer. It's when you're taking a OChem test and there's 4 questions and you're sitting there and 30 minutes have gone by and the professor's going, wrap it up. You eventually have to go, C. It's just it's what the answer is. My answer is I don't think there's a good answer. I think he's complicit or weak. I don't know which one. And I think this is probably a lesson from God that you can't put any faith in this because we're flawed humans. And this is a lesson in the blip of eternity that you have to put your faith in the Lord because nothing here matters.
All right.
That's what I ultimately think it is.
So damn it.
So it's going to collapse into either civil war or dictatorship and you're going to be killed. But ultimately that doesn't matter. It's about how you act in the eyes of the Lord. That's what I think the answer is. If you don't think that's the answer, then what is the answer?
I think
I can't do this.
I think that President Trump said something really interesting that scares me more than anything in the world. You want to know what scares me about President Trump? He was asked the question, and I want you to remember this. Do you think you will go to heaven?
I did see that. And he said, I'm not sure.
No, it's not what he said.
He said, no, I don't think my life looks very good. I don't think I'm going to heaven, which tells me he's thinking about that, which then comes down to what do you do in the eyes of the Lord? You are the president.
If President Trump says, I don't think I'm going to heaven, you better believe that he's thinking about doing something pretty drastic.
Or he's already betrayed.
Those are your 2 options.
Those are your 2 options.
And if you've already betrayed, which means you didn't sell Jesus.
You sold out the country then.
You sold out your people.
Mm-hmm.
You sold out your people, right? There's only 2 options. You can pull the lever and you can say, I need to secure my children's future, my family's future. And you're willing to kill 100 million people in the United States as a result of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not going to heaven. That's very true. You're not. The other one is that he knows what he's going to have to do. It could cost a lot of people their lives. And because he sees those people as still God's children, he doesn't feel like he'll go to heaven. I'd like to believe it's the second. But based on the inaction, I get really, really worried about his answer. First of all, the timing of the question and his answer lead me down a path where he's either accepted his own fate or he is just trying to script the fate of his children and grandchildren. Those are your options.
It's the first 3 options. He is either complicit.
No.
Listen to what I'm saying. He is either I'm not attacking. He's either number 1, he's betrayed, which means complicit. Number 2, he sees what he has to do and he's scared to do it, which means you're weak. Or number 3, he sees what he has to do still and is waiting, which means he's planning. It's back to the first 3. It really is. I would like to think it's number 3. He's waiting to tear the Band-Aid off and he knows he has to. I don't know if I'm right. That's my answer. I don't think I'll answer. I don't think he's complicit and I don't think he's weak. The answer I hate the most is the one that I actually think it is. He's waiting and it's lining up and then he's going to fire and it's going to be ugly, but it's the least ugly answer. That's my answer, which is actually hopeful.
He needs more guys. He needs more guys like me that'll walk in that understand how to make chicken salad out of chicken shit and aren't afraid. That's what he needs. More guys like you too, Joe. Because I can already tell you'll be like, yeah, what? Come on, let's send me in. Put me in, coach. What do I got to do? Yeah, I'm good.
Here I am. Send me. I heard a guy said once.
Well, there you go. There it is. And he knows that. So he has to do something. And the clock is ticking.
But the clock's already ticked. It's already played its game. It's already.
Can I share a biblical story that points out where we are?
Yeah.
Gideon. So Gideon,
300.
his country's been taken over by an oppressive force. They're ruling everything and telling everyone what to do, and they're taking all their crops. Gideon's hiding out. And an angel appears and says, "Go in the strength you have, mighty warrior, and save the people of Israel." And he says, "Yeah, but look, man, if you're really from God, why did God let this happen? Why didn't God fix it for us?" And then God replies, "I'm sending you. That's what I'm doing."
Correct.
And I think that the lesson for all of us in this time is that we can't wait for the guy on the white horse to show up. We're the guy on the white horse, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean taking violent and crazy action and getting yourself in trouble, but it does take concerted vocal action, voicing our displeasure, and letting it be known. We cannot be passive. The Bible calls for you to be active, and you must be active.
I think you're mostly right, though, in that I don't think being vocal does anything anymore.
Okay, but we have to do something concerted. We have to do something. We can't just continue.
No, correct. No, you're 100% correct.
Tweeting is not solving this. I know that sounds crazy, but putting out tweets is not fixing things.
Well, correct, which means being vocal is not the answer.
Well, hold on a second.
It leaves another one, which this isn't my show, so I can't say it.
I put some pretty good. I put out some pretty good tweets, Joe. Come on now.
Listen, you have fantastic tweets.
Here's Tommy, as the
none
founder
of us are
of
attacking the quality of the
push
tweets.
us into a statement we don't want to make.
No, I'm not attacking either of you quality of tweets. They're both very good tweets. You should be very proud.
Hey,
but
listen, mine call for the execution of traitors that commit treason.
You got Joe, when you were telling us that story earlier about your golfing buddy and you got him to open up. That's exactly what has happened with you over the course of this. Is I think you did finally answer, and you said that the one you don't want to confront is the one that makes you lose all hope. But that's the truth. It's the faithful answer. It's in the hands of God. What do I do, oh Lord?
You fight. That's my problem is that we have to. I just want to fight just to fight.
But the answer can't be the president's waiting for us to fight because he's the president. He's the commander in chief.
Americans is we're always waiting for somebody else to step in and do it. Or if God wanted it done, he'd miracle it that way. If you actually have read the Bible, you said every time something needed to change on a drastic and national level, he sent one or two angels and they made the people do the work. That's our problem. We don't want to do the work. We want someone else to do it or just to fix, right, and be ready tomorrow. It doesn't work that way. We actually are going to have to get our hands dirty and do things to fix this ourselves. And I'm going to leave it at that.
You know, and it's as close as you can get to it. The next closest thing Trump could do is he could just not prosecute vigilantes.
Hey, so
that's the closest he can get to him not doing it. If a bunch of, I don't know, Dale characters go out there and start doing the Lord's work, quote unquote, he could just say, yeah, he's acting in America's best interest and I'll pardon him. Maybe that's what he needs to start doing. Is start pardoning veterans day in and day out who, quote unquote, do the Lord's work. And it's a passive way of he didn't have to do anything and he's letting people do things.
Yes,
one way of looking at it, I suppose.
All right, so we've all decided that
Dolio's texting me under the table, like, stop incriminating, stop trying to incriminate me, stop. I'm kidding, he's not. I'm kidding.
You don't know how to incriminate anybody but yourself.
I'm kidding. I know. I don't worry about that. But that's the point. I've accepted it. Like, this is what I have to do, and whatever. And they'll no knock me and kill me, and it's fine. I'm good with God. I understand that. It's sorry, Joe.
No. There's no knock and just kill you. That's a firefight. You should, what's that?
No, I mean, I didn't say I won't fight, but I just imagine that's probably how it will go.
It doesn't.
I'm just honest about that. It's.
This is why you need a fraternity. Look, so what he's talking about is that I went and played golf with these guys, right? And this guy's telling me how great his life is, everything else. And I've already come to the conclusion that most of the people that we see online, they're not real people, right? Everybody has this facade. Oh, I got 800,000 followers, put on this little suit and walk around. And I'm like, get the hell out of here. You go back and you live in your parents' basement, or you have a 1-bedroom apartment. You've never really experienced life or anything else, right? So I'm playing golf with this guy, right? He tells me how great his life is. And I'm like, I'm just gonna tear this guy apart. I'm gonna get right to the bottom of him. I'll figure out what this guy's made out of. You know, when you just find like, all right, I'm going to test it. I'm going to test my theory. I think I'm right. Where everyone just kind of wants to show up. Like I will do whatever I want, right? And I talk about whatever I want. I say what is on my mind. I just don't care. Like I'm gonna speak the truth. I try not to cuss because I want to honor God, but I've totally screwed that up today, so I apologize. So I just started tearing them apart. I'm like, all right, how long have you been married? It said 6 years. And I was like, all right, what's the biggest problem you and your wife face? And he went to say something. I said, don't bullshit me. Like, this isn't a job interview. I'm not going to hire you. Start talking. I go, because if life was great, it's 8:40 in the morning, you'd be at church with your family right now. That's where you'd be. You wouldn't be here. Right?
Right.
So I just kind of pushed him. By the third hole, we were friends. By the sixth hole, he was crying.
Yeah.
and he's like, yeah, my life is just not that great. I was like, all right, well, now stop being a little pussy. Now let's talk about how we fix it. Right. I was like, first of all, you don't walk around. Nobody cares that you're making a bunch of money. Nobody cares. Nobody gets any of that stuff. Nobody cares. You know what they care about is that, are you a legitimate person? Are you ethical? Are you willing to stand up? Do you have courage? Are you going to protect your children? I asked you a question about politics.
Social media has made us this way, right?
Yeah.
We all want to put our best foot forward and live a fake life on there. So we teach a lot of classes, and we have guys argue with us online about the training points we do. And we're like, okay, but what's the last class you took? Don't, we're going to ask. So don't give us a story. We're going to ask the trainer if you've ever been in a class. Well, I don't feel I need to, because 25 years ago, I joined the Army and I did basic training. Oh, okay. Well, guess what? You don't really train. And it goes up with everything. And the guy's like, well, I would do this, this, and this if I was, if these things happen. Okay, well, then why haven't you? Just like you said, right? Or like Tommy said, so why haven't you? Right? Why didn't you? When they stole the election in your town, why didn't you? When Antifa showed up in your neighborhood, why didn't you? Well, and there's always a reason. Like you said, they're all living the fake life, and you got to get down to what group of people is actually going to do it. And I'll be honest, NC Scout and I teach these classes all year. We see the same 40 people all the time. They come to everything, and they're trained and they're ready. But the thousands and thousands of others refuse to do so because somebody else is going to fix it.
And I think that's probably the answer to everything, is the people who do acknowledge what situation we are in and where we are probably very quietly removing themselves from society and preparing. That's probably the answer.
You don't have to remove. You don't hold on a second. You don't have to remove yourself from anything. Nobody can chase you off. That's the problem, right?
Well, I don't know. I left Detroit and I'm in the middle of the wilderness.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean is, like, they're going, it's all screwed.
Yeah.
Guns and ammo, water, food, and go skedaddle, because the rest of it's going to implode.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Well, I think the answer is that we're trying to put off. You know what? It reminds me of Daniel Pearl. Daniel Pearl. Remember who he was?
I recognize the name. What do I recognize?
A journalist that they knelt down in front of a camera, made him denounce the United States, and then cut his head off slowly on live TV.
I don't know that. I don't kneel.
You know what? I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do this for all of you.
I remember the first beheading in GWAT was
Daniel Pearlman was one of the earliest. So
I thought Nick Berg was the first. I remember that. I was in like 6th grade. I remember seeing that video in E-Bombs World. Nick Berg. They decapitated him. Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. They might have taken the video offline.
I think, honestly, the narco-terrorist thing is actually kind of a perfect microcosm. We know what these people are. Everyone's seen, what you like it or not, everyone's seen a cartel video. They are brutal. They're animals. And then regardless if they're brutal or animals, the very thing they're delivering, fentanyl, is brutish and animalish. But these are people who are terrorists. They decapitate people with chainsaws, and they skin them alive, and they deliver fentanyl to the U.S. What Trump's doing with Hegseth is bombing these people to smithereens and broadcasting it. And whether you did that or not, people are going to hate you. The same people that hate Trump are also the same people that call him a war criminal for killing people that bring fentanyl to the United States. That's a perfect microcosm of, even if you take out an objective evil, cartel members that decapitate people on camera and send fentanyl to your country, if you bomb them in international waters, the people that hate you are going to hate you regardless. I hope Trump's looking at this and making the brain cells are slowly connecting where he goes, I bet this also applies to using the military domestically and destroying all these demons. They're gonna hate you no matter what, so just do it.
Isn't it Daniel Pearl, not Perlman?
Daniel Pearl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna prove a point right now. Neither one of you are gonna like it, and the audience is not gonna like it either. You guys are gonna get super mad at me. But let me see if I can get it. This is the video, and I want to preface it by saying this: we so don't want to see gore. We don't want to see violence. We especially our side makes justifications of, oh my gosh, it's getting too close, getting too close. Let's admonish Joe for standing up for what's right. Joe, let's admonish Joe because Joe's talking about the fact that we have to hang treasonous traitors. That should be the punishment. But the reality of it is that everyone is just waiting. They're just waiting. They're waiting for at some point to take that last breath. Can I just have one more breath? I mean, that's what it comes down to.
I think that's probably what it is. I think he's probably weighing all the options and he realizes the one he has to do. That's still bad, but it's ultimately the least worst answer. He's just waiting to, all right, you're standing on the diving board and you're little and you're like, and you finally jump. They think that's what it is. It's not a great answer, and I have great empathy for him. I know I've been, screaming this whole episode, but I have great empathy. It's very easy for me to yell about this versus you're sitting there and you got however many documents you're going, okay, well, if we do this, then this is going to happen. If we do that, we know they're going to detonate a bomb here and this is going to happen there. And eventually you look at it and it's the weight of the world on your shoulders. But, and what you didn't like, Joe, is actually what I do like, which gives me optimism, is the fact that he's openly talking about his own conscience in heaven. That tells me he's thinking about this, that this isn't just some simple, we don't know. I think he realizes that this is the nexus of where quite literally the planet goes next. It's where America goes, so goes the world. And he's at the top. I have great empathy for that. I'm happy to hear that he's talking about heaven because that tells me he's thinking he's walked all of this out to the highest nth degree. And it's, oh, wow, this is really, wow. This is between me and God. And I hope he acts. Dolio?
I know this guy who said that World War III would not be a conflict among world powers. It would be a collection of civil wars and regional wars all going at the same time. That guy's name was Joe, and he looked a lot like me. And do you get the feeling that I'm wrong or I'm right in that prediction?
I think you're right. I think that is the outcome.
To the point you just made, how goes America, so goes the world. And I think
the fractal ripples.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if that's one outcome, if the outcome of doing nothing is top-down dictatorship, the third option is something that's pulling the Band-Aid off, but allows you to thread the needle between the two of those, the regional and civil wars versus totalitarianism. It's going to be an unpopular third way, but it's the least worst way.
I'll be honest, though, doing nothing, all it does is kick the can down the road. Because eventually there's going to come a point where they're going to say, okay, now they are intruding upon my freedoms too much, and I'm going to have to do something.
You're gonna have a bunch of guys doing that.
The Band-Aid, the better option.
And at that point, the keg's already lit, and now it doesn't matter because you have people going, you know what? Now I got 2 kids, I got a wife. You know what? My universe ends at my front door, and then once that happens, as Clay says, it's a prairie fire. It's gone. I hope he prays on it deeply, and I hope the Lord guides him.
All right, so I'm not going to play it, but let me describe it for you. I'm not going to play it. I just saw the video again, and the family has asked for that.
It's not a good video.
Yeah, no,
It's a terrible video. It's a terrible video, and they make a point of saying that he's a Jew. I don't actually care what he is. They beheaded the man because he was a symbol for them. He was a example of what they wanted to do to America. And by the way, they did it. The World Trade Centers fell, and they bombed us, and then all of a sudden now they're being put in political office. Right? You got a Somali woman in Minnesota that literally hates America, stands for Somalis, and we can even talk about what happened in Mogadishu. And we are the most backwards ass people on the planet. Like, we are just backwards. We let our enemy just into our be in Congress. Oh, you want to be president? No problem, Barack. Gotcha. But here's what happened. They held him hostage for quite some time. This is in 2002, by the way. Okay. They held him hostage for a long time. They talked about letting him go. They made him do a series of videos where he basically denounced the United States. Hey, I'm holding a newspaper. And then the last video, he had a bag over his head. They pulled the bag off. They let him speak. And he talked about how bad America was. And then after he's not even fully all the way done, a Pakistani man comes up, grabs him by his hair and his head, and severs his head. Do you think he believed all the stuff about the United States that he said? No. You know why he did it?
There's a sword right there off screen the whole time.
He just wanted to breathe one more day. He just wanted to breathe.
Yeah.
He just wanted to take another breath.
Yeah.
And right now, we collectively are just taking another breath. And we're acting as if, hey, let me just live another day. It's the whole idea of being the victim and being like, I'll do whatever they tell me to do. I just want to live one more day. I'll just do whatever they tell me to do. And in the meantime, they rape everyone around you. They do whatever they want to you. They murder your children, and you watch it happen. You debate the ridiculous because you're afraid to stand up for what you know is just right.
Yeah, I think that's well said.
I think that's the most human answer. I think that's the honest answer is push comes to shove. You just want to breathe again. Just give me one more day. I think that's a completely honest answer. It's the most human answer. And it's fine to answer that.
Yeah. And Chris says Tucker is right about white self-hatred. I don't have any white self-hatred. I didn't do anything wrong. Did you, Joe? You do anything wrong?
Hey, what?
I don't think we've said anything poor about white people this show.
No. I'm just saying that Chris is saying that Chris in the comments, Tucker is right about white self-hatred. It's actually not even white people that are saying it. It's.
I said this on our show the other morning that white self-hatred is one of the worst things in America, right? We blame ourselves for everything. And in all reality, we contribute an awful lot to the world. And I don't think any race should be self-hating. That's how you die.
I agree.
Hell yeah.
I agree. Well, Joe, go ahead and tell us what go ahead. Sorry, Tommy.
No, I was going to say, so in conclusion, Trump needs to deploy the military to all 50 states and kill all these people.
I think just military tribunals, man. Just get the generals that didn't disobey your direct orders, bring them in, arrest the other generals, just arrest them.
Yeah, execute everybody.
Yeah, and bring in some good people into the military. But the problem is when you see this big of an infiltration, they waited like a sleeper cell until they had enough density, they could create enough issues, which is typically somewhere between 45 and 50%. Because they know that 90% of the other 50% that's left, they're shit bags. They're not going to do anything. You only got 10% left, right? And if they hold the axle of power, which is the media and the elections, it's all over.
Mm-hmm.
Curtain call.
So you might as well go out shooting.
I agree. Joe, is that the answer? I'll give you the final word on this segment.
I think the answer is that everyone needs to collectively stand up and say enough and support whatever he does, but he needs to do something. So
agreed.
The answer, yeah, you know what? I think that dropping out the generals who have been the most disobedient, absolutely. I think charging Mark Kelly because he meets the requirements of 18 U.S. Code 2387. Nobody has to actually disobey an order. You just have to have encouraged it, and he did. And I think that if they did that, you would probably scare a lot of them right back under the covers. So,
Or
like you said, 90% of them aren't going to do anything anyway. You just make it happen.
or like a shark, Trump could get a taste for blood and then go back for more. I tried this guy. That kind of felt good, making an example out of him.
Possible.
Let it overcome you, Trump.
Joe, how do people follow you?
Put the hood up.
How do people follow you?
I'm sorry?
How do people follow you?
How do people follow you?
I had a noise here that distracted me. So you can find me on Twitter at DolioJ. You can also find me at my website, tactical-wisdom.com. And you can catch me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 till 10 on the Council on Future Conflict here on Rumble and over on YouTube.
I just followed you.
Check us out.
And I'm gonna Tactical Wisdom series. I need to read that. I'm gonna add it.
Hey, listen, Tactical Wisdom books make a great Christmas present. Make it happen.
I just did. And the training you do right now is to train people how to basically defend their families.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
You train people on how to defend their families?
Oh, yeah. We do all kinds of classes. We teach people fieldcraft, where you get out and learn how to move in the woods. We teach community security, where you can protect your neighborhood from the Mongol hordes or zombies or whatever it is that's coming for you. I teach unarmed and armed self-defense. We teach everything from unarmed self-defense through firearms, and we do all kinds of fun classes. Check out our schedule there on the website.
Okay, so north meaning, are you up in like
I'm in almost Canada. That's what we call it, almost Canada. We're in the Swan Valley of Northwest Montana. We have a nice camp here with a full-size gym and a bunch of acres of woods adjoining 6 million acres of wilderness for getting out and doing all kinds of patrolling training and good stuff like that. We have a good time out here. We'll be hosting Mountain Readiness out here this summer, a big preparedness festival. So come visit us.
You know, I should get out there just so I can show some of you guys that I know what I'm doing. Or you could just shoot me in the face with a paintball gun. One of the two.
Look, man, it's a whole campground. You can just come and hang out for the weekend. It's a good time.
It sounds like fun. Joe, thanks for joining us. And I haven't lost full hope, but it's getting close. Just kidding. It's not.
No, you just gotta pray. You just gotta pray.
You do have to pray.
And by the way, the answer might be like, hey, you don't get out of this alive. But if that's God's plan, then it's God's plan. You were never getting out alive anyway.
Yeah, no question. No question. I did actually just follow you, Joe. But Joe, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. I do want to get out there. Maybe I'll come up and visit with you and do some training with you. Be a good addition.
We got fishing and hunting too, so we got everything. Come on.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Now you're talking my language. Me and Kyle Seraphin were like, we need to find a place in Montana, just build like a community deal and just make sure we have all the front, put some claymores out around the edges and make sure we can get in.
Yeah. Rumor has it has some flashbangs showing up to test soon, so join the party.
Have you played with those before?
What's that?
Have you played with flashbangs before?
Yeah. A time.
There's so the most fun you could ever have is flashbanging your friends.
God.
Joe knows what I'm talking about too.
Yes.
Holy shit. Oh shit.
That sounds awful.
No, it's fun. You don't want to be on the receiving end, but it's fun on the giving end.
I had a friend literally that wouldn't talk to me for like, I don't know, a year. He was pissed. I flashbanged him. It was fun. It was fun. It was funny. He cracked jokes and I was like, I'm going to one up you. And he's like, no, you won't. And I flashbanged him. And he's like, okay, you did. And he stopped talking to me. And I did it in such a way it's almost like hotboxing someone's like you should never have done it that way. I felt bad afterwards.
God, that sounds awful.
Yeah, it was bad. All right. Joe, thanks for joining us, brother. I appreciate you.
Anytime.
All right, God bless you. Tommy, we have he's a great dude.
Yeah.
We can get in a lot of trouble. We probably could have said too much and got all three of ourselves in trouble and come and grabbed us.
No.
They would have showed up at your house because you're like an easier target. You're down the street from,
would have. Yeah,
from
no,
the
100%.
FBI
Yeah, no,
headquarters.
they absolutely would. Yeah.
There's a couple things that I wanted to go over today that outside of that, because we've got some problems. One of which is I want to talk about Tina Peters. I know you've probably heard about this.
Mm-hmm.
But she's in, man, it's crazy. I'm going to read this. This is a post from Tina Peters. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is Mr. Tina Peters. Thanks from the bottom of my heart to everyone to keep me in their thoughts and sent prayers yesterday. This is the second year that I have spent Thanksgiving in prison. This time of year, it always brings heavy to me, always heavy for me. Coming directly on the heels of Remington's birthday, being in prison, I'm constantly reminded of all the blessings that we have that we so often take for granted. So many of these women do not have families outside of here. And something as simple as the freedom to wake up and make coffee at home in my own kitchen seems monumental after 14 months in here. Remember all those that have served our country in uniform who are not home with their families yesterday. Pray for the families of the 2 National Guard members who were involved in the shooting. One will never have another holiday with their daughter. May God see that the second gets to keep their son. Even when life challenges us and tragedy strikes, we must always remain grateful for the countless blessings we have each day. I'm grateful for those that have continued to fight for our country, the American people, and for me as I continue to fight for all of you. If you can support me, please go to tinapeters.us and support my legal defense. The Mesa report highlight the evidence that I preserved. And if you do nothing else, pray for justice for all the Americans who triumph over those who betrayed the spirit and truth and freedom. God bless you all, and thank you for your support, Tina Peters. Man, it angers me. It angers me. And I want to say that it's normal. I'm also going to talk about someone who. This is Carrie Lake on Tina and the J6ers that play cut 2.
I tell you, Tina Peters is a really good woman. I know her personally. I consider her a friend. Her son died in the line of duty, active duty, Navy SEAL, I believe he was. And to throw her behind bars, the same corrupt people in Colorado who were behind the election malfeasance. And when she was trying to say, we're going to collect the evidence and make sure that we are responsible to the voters and the taxpayers, they throw her in jail for that, in prison for that. She's a woman who's got health problems, and I'm afraid if we don't get her out, that she'll die behind bars. This is an unfair sentence. It's ridiculous. Same thing. They threw the book at her for ridiculous non-crime. The same thing they did with the J6ers. And, come full circle. One of the judges who handled so many of the J6 cases, you might remember him. He was the judge who fell asleep during their trials. And then when he woke up, threw the book at these J6ers who didn't do anything wrong except protest, peacefully. And so I have that same judge over all the cases that have been lodged against our agency. When they get somebody in an agency and we are starting to clean things up, that's when the deep state starts throwing out malicious lawsuits. We've got 5 or 6 malicious lawsuits. They want to tie us up in court. They want to do this with all the other agencies as well. Anywhere where they're bringing reform, they want to get them tied up, tangled up in court with judges who, like mine, actually threw the book at these J6ers for simply protesting at the Capitol.
When I talk about people who are influencers that are really good when they stand in front of a microphone, don't really want to solve the problems, I liken the fact that they don't know much about the people that they're talking about. They're concerned about what happens to them, not what's concerned about what happened to other people. And Tina Peters had to spend her second Thanksgiving in prison. Did Mike Lindell spend it in prison? Sharona Bishop? Conan Hayes? Gerald Wood? Anybody else that went to Tina and said, hey, you have an opportunity here. We can get this information and we can prove all the fraud. Any of those people go in prison?
I think it's just her. Why is it just her?
My problem with what's happening to Tina Peters is that everyone who said that they were there to support her, to take care of her, abandoned her. Sharona Bishop did it right up front. I mean, she was a Fed from the beginning. You have Conan Hayes, was a Fed for the CIA. That's who they picked. They picked the guy that was a Fed. Gerald Wood could have done gotten the copy, no problem. Right? And this is the part, Tommy, that I have the most problems with, is that everything that they did, like turning off the cameras, and they didn't have to do any of that. They didn't have to do any of it. They had to do none of that. She was protecting it. She didn't have to turn off the camera, and nobody was monitoring him anyway. She didn't have to. She went to the IT department for the city and said, I need you to make a copy of this. They're getting ready to change things. I need you to make a copy of it. And none of those people are in jail. Tina's in jail. And a simpleton with a small program could have made that image. And then what did they do? They flew her out to Mike Lindell's symposium, dog and ponied her around. What happened at the symposium? I specifically said, Tina, I don't know you very well, and it's good to meet you. Do not get on that stage. Do not get on that stage, Tina. Do not get on that stage. And everyone else, from Kurt to Mike Lindell to Sharona, said, Joe, butt out of it. And I'm like, listen, they're going to clap. You're going to be ingratiated by the support. It's going to give you courage. You're going to say things. You're going to be bombacious. It's going to be a bad idea. Don't do it. And what did they do? As soon as she got on, they pulled up the image and they let a guy named, what's that guy's name? What was his name? The guy from Japan, 8chan or whatever. Ron Watkins. They let him speak, who uncovered Conan Hayes, who was upstairs yanking himself around over the fact that he didn't have PCAPs because they didn't exist. It's all a setup, Tommy. The whole thing is a setup.
How come Trump hasn't pardoned her?
He can't. It's a state charge. He can go in and get her. He could just send the marshals and say, give me Tina Peters. He could send the National Guard in and take him as a result of stolen elections, fraudulent elections. I mean, all the things that you're talking about could happen. He could do all of those things. They just haven't been done. How much election fraud? We have so much information on the election fraud. And everyone says Dominion, 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 Dominion. Right? In 2005, Dominion was what company? Before it was purchased, it was what company?
Diebold?
Sequoia Voting Systems.
Oh.
Who was the chief architect?
Coomer.
Yeah. When it sold to Sequoia, who went with Sequoia to Dominion?
Coomer.
Yeah. Who was there since day one?
Yeah.
Who wrote their doctorate thesis on energy decay models? What would you use that for in an election other than PID controllers and fixed outcomes? That's the whole idea of it. It's not by accident. They needed it. Here's a post right here. Tina Peters was a win against Greta Griswold's felonious orders and backed up the election data before they wiped the system. Clear, deliberate manipulation of the voting systems. Audit trail deleted, system logs deleted, voting files replaced with new files. This is why Judge Barrett denied her entering the evidence into testimony, denying almost all of her witnesses, and then sentenced her to 9 years of prison. Tina Peters uncovered a way the Democrats' apparatus had been interfering in U.S. elections. Like, we know all this, Tommy. Why in the world right now, with all the information we have, with what Emerald put out there, what we got from the whistleblowers, from Patrick Byrne, why have we not taken all this information, put it together, and been like, let's just arrest them all?
Do you want my answer?
Yeah.
Not gonna like it. It's the 3 options I brought up earlier. I don't like posing those as 3 options. But you have to ask yourself, you just laid out. They've got it all. You're in power.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
I mean, it's it.
It's a shitty thing to have to corner and to illuminate. But it's like when you're little and you do something and your dad's like, do you know what you were doing? And you knew you were doing. You know it's wrong, and you know it's so why did you eventually he gets it out of you? You're like, because I wanted to get away with it. And then and it's uncomfortable, and you're a kid and you cry and blah blah blah. You have all of this, so he's not stupid. It's not a lack of information. You're in power. So are you afraid to do it? Do you not want to do it? Or are you waiting? And I think that's what you said. I want to breathe one more day. He probably knows the answer to all of this is something really bad. And I have empathy for want to push it off another 24 hours. I get it. So that's what it is. Because I don't think he's weak and I don't think he's complicit. So I think he knows what he has to do. And he's very human. He just doesn't want to do it today because it's going to be really bad. I think that's the answer to everything we're posting, from election fraud to border to money over here to the Epstein files to it all comes down to those 3. And they're very bad answers. And it's very easy for us to judge. I'll be more specific. It's very easy for me to judge. But it's one of the 3. And some might say it's because he's weak. You're entitled to that opinion. Some might say he's complicit. I don't think he is. I think he could have just kept living his life as a billionaire. Like I think that's pretty. He could have just not done this.
I would agree with that.
So I think it's 3rd. I think he's planning. Or it's not. Let's go. I don't think it's planning. I think he knows exactly what he has to do. And it's the pit in your stomach where you're like, I don't want to, whatever, break up with my girlfriend. I don't want to text my friend and tell him that, you got to fire him. Or you don't want to go when I put my dog down in 2020, he was 18. It's putting it off for years. And eventually it's like, oh, I know what I have to do, and I'm not too weak to do it. And I'm not doing it because I want to kill him. I know what I have to do. I have to put my dog down. I just don't want to do it. I've had him since I was in 6th grade. Yeah. But eventually you go, it has to be done. And you do it. And I think that's what it is. I think he knows exactly what has to be done. I don't think he's planning, because planning implies he doesn't know. I think he knows what he has to do. He's probably got a war plan written up with Hegseth that says, you give the word, we can go do X, Y, and Z, and it's going to be bad.
And why wouldn't you bring other people in that know what they're doing? And maybe they are, right? Maybe that's.
I think they probably are. That's the thing, is I think they probably are. I think it's probably all buttoned up, and it's like, when are you going to do it? And it's no one can make that decision but him, and I have great empathy for it. You know.
Pray, stand, speak, act. 4 things that you have to do at all times. Correct. But I will tell you that the only reason that the left is taking as many shots at me as they are is because they know that what I'm saying is accurate.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be taking the shots at me. They wouldn't care.
Yeah, they wouldn't care.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is where we are.
Yeah. It's actually, and it might not sound it, It's actually the best possible answer. I certainly don't want the answer to be you're complicit. I certainly don't want the answer to be you're just a pussy. It's actually the least worst answer.
Yeah, I know.
He knows exactly what he has to do. There could even be a worse answer than that, second to least. He has to do something and he's just drawing up a plan. Well, that still applies. How come you haven't drawn it up yet? No, I think there is. I will say, I legitimately think there's a plan. I think there's some threshold they're waiting for. And the threshold might very well be God's going to knock him off his horse and be like, hey, dude. And he has to do it. And it's the weight of the world. And it's probably whatever it is, it's probably going to result in the death of millions of people.
Yeah.
And it's awful. It's awful. All jokes aside, it's awful. You have to pull the Band-Aid off. Pulling the Band-Aid off implies there's also going to be a lot of pain. They're probably, all the deep state assets are probably going to burn everything they have. They're going to do cyber attacks. They're going to cause nuclear plants to melt down. They're going to vaporize a city or two. It's going to make 9/11 look like nothing. It's awful. And it's pretty awful that Trump knows, even if I'm doing the right thing, when I do this, I will still be responsible for those deaths. As Harry Truman said, get Oppenheimer out of my office. He doesn't know what it's like to drop bombs. I know what it's like to drop bombs. And Harry Truman, a World War I veteran, said you have to understand that these bombs are not cannons or guns. These are bombs that kill women and children. And he knows that. And he took it on him. And God bless him, he did it. And I think it probably haunted him till the day he died. But he did it. That's what it is. And you could argue Truman knows he has to drop this bomb. It's going to end the war. Yeah, you know what? It's a human thing to go tomorrow, this time tomorrow, 100,000, 500,000 kids are going to be dead who aren't dead right now. And it's only because of my word. I would imagine that crushes your heart. I would imagine that is like trying to squat the weight of a planet. I get that. But it's actually the least worst answer. Much worse answers would be that you are weak or that you are complicit. The least worst answer is you know what you have to do, and you're showing your you're not in a good way. You're showing your humanity. And you're going, can we just wait a little longer? Do I have to get up right now? Can I hit snooze for just 5 more minutes? Can I have 5 more minutes? Because once I do this, the world's changed forever. But I think that's the answer. And that applies to everything. To the border, to elections, to money to Ukraine, to letting Israel, supplying weapons to Israel that is doing this to Gaza. I think it applies to everything. I think it comes down to that. And it's, hey, man, I pray for him. That sucks. That sucks that it's on his shoulders. I'm sure he wishes it was on anyone else's shoulders.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you fully. Yeah. I shouldn't, but I do.
It's if you walk it out, it's actually the least worst answer.
Okay, so let's talk about President Trump's. We're almost out of time, and I had a bunch of stuff I wanted to go through, but I do want to give you an update. We do one. Sarah Beckstrom was the one that was killed, the National Guardsman that was killed. President Trump had this to say about her. Let's go ahead and play cut 5.
You've spoken with Andrew Wolf's family. Can you give us an update on
I have spoken to both families. Well, I mean, I can give you an update. They're devastated. Does that make sense to you?
Of course. Okay.
They're devastated.
Can you give us an update on Andrew Wolf's condition?
Well, as you know, the one is no longer with us. And Andrew is fighting for his life. And his parents are unbelievably great people, highly religious people. And they're praying, and they want everybody to pray for Andrew. And he has a chance to make it, but he is, his mother and father, they were so unbelievable. They were so positive. From West Virginia, great state. I spoke with Sarah's parents, too, and the only thing I can say, they were devastated.
Do you plan
They can't even believe it could happen.
And then we got an update on Andrew. This just came in. This is from Andrew Wolf. Or about Andrew Wolf by West Virginia's governor. Couldn't play it.
Is that Andrew remains in serious condition. We did have some positive news that we were told that Andrew was asked if he could hear the nurse who asked the question to give a thumbs up, and he did respond. And we were told that he also wiggled his toes. So we take that as a positive sign. I'm not here to speculate, but I will say one thing, that Melody, the mom, has been so positive a force, and she's been asking people across the country to pray for her son, and those prayers are working. So,
all right. And the last thing I want to bring up is for our peeps in Colorado. You ready for this? Kyle Clark is the 9 News person, which, by the way, if you go to Kyle Clark's X page, it's at Kyle Clark. He is deathly afraid that there's going to be a merger that goes through for a purchase for 9 News. So he has a public notice. Today, the FCC accepted for filing the application for Nexstar, Fox 31 to acquire Tegna, which is 9 News. And it set a pleading cycle public comment to run through late January with the ruling following. The FCC's Nexstar is requesting 2 ownership rule waivers. And he puts it up there. When they do acquire 9 News, Kyle Clark will most likely be fired because he's a radical leftist shitbag. And I cannot imagine that he would be kept around. Beyond that, though, I want to say this. Kyle Clark spends a lot of his time and news cycle attacking me publicly in Colorado. So much so that I have guys that basically threaten me over and over and over again. One of them is going to end up taking that seriously and take it to the next level. And I'm going to end up having to hurt someone as a result of Kyle Clark. Now, I haven't decided how I'm going to handle this yet, but I do know that that's going to come. But they created this whole thing about that I'm inciting violence by calling for Polis and others who have committed treason to be hung for non-victimless crime, for what I consider they were not victimless crimes. I want to point something out, though, Tommy. When you look at a governor, you look at leadership, you want to see what are they doing that's good, right? You would say, okay. So I went and we pulled a bunch of different charts. I tried to find any chart that was out there that would show that under Polis that anything good happened in Colorado. Anything. Let's go ahead and put up this first image of what this is, image 1. This shows drug use and safety merged together. And as you can see, the drug use goes up and the safety goes down. See the trend lines there? Okay, so let me tell you, on crime, in 2018, we were 28th in crime, 8th in drug use, 28th in safety, and 15th in homelessness. Okay? Fast forward to 2025, we are 34th in crime, 4th in drug use, 34th in safety, and 9th in homelessness. In other words, if you look at the inverted chart, all of those are bad. There's not one good part to any of that. The homicide rate in 2018 under Polis, when he first got in, was 4.2 homicides per 100,000 people. In 2024, it's 6.2, or about a 35% increase in homicides per 100,000 people in the last 6 years, or 6 years, right? You ready for this? Overdose death. 2018, it was 19.8 per 100,000 people. 2024 is 29 per 100,000 people, or roughly, again, a 30% increase. Violent crime rate, 2018, 401 offenses per 100,000. 2025, it's 476 offenses per 100,000, 20% increase. And check out this chart for C2. This is education decline under Polis. If you look at the rankings, we were 26th in rankings. These are overall rankings. Now, if I get down to the average graduation rate, and their proficiencies, it's much worse. But I wanted to give the benefit of the doubt. An 80% graduation rate in 2018. In 2025, it's projected to be, and they're saying it's because of funding, although taxes have doubled. That's Colorado, Tommy, under a radical leftist Democrat.
And people are mad that you said I should be hung.
You know who's actually talked about this in the media? No one. No one. They haven't brought it up at all.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. It
What's
wasn't
that?
one bad year. If you're consistently doing that, and just the homicide alone, forget everything else, just the homicide rate alone. If under 6 or 7 consecutive years, it went up 35%. Yeah, no, I think that's at best life in prison. At worst, that's malicious complicity, and hung from the neck till you're dead.
Well, let's talk about what else Polis has done to actually hurt Americans specifically. Here's a video of a Colorado man who had to fight off an intruder in the middle of the night who was going for his kid's room, who had just been arrested this year on another violent break-in. Play it.
Kevin and Sarah Root were asleep upstairs when they heard a noise. Originally, they thought it may be one of their 4 kids, but as it continued,
Heard heavy footsteps coming up the stairs. As a parent, you know your kid's footsteps, and this was not any of our kids.
Kevin got up to check.
We had our door slightly cracked, and I saw the shadow go by, and that just is a sinking feeling.
A man was on the staircase right next to the bedroom, having broken the lock on the front door.
As I heard him coming up, I said, "Who is this?" Just yelled, thinking, let me just let him know, like, we know you're here, we're awake.
They say the man never spoke a word as he continued up the stairs, fear creeping in as thoughts raced that he could be armed with either a gun or maybe a knife from the kitchen counter. Now he was heading towards where the kids were sleeping.
As a mom, it's just your worst nightmare. It's terrifying.
There comes a moment where you're like, this is me. If I'm husband and the father, like, it's on me to do something.
Well, Sarah called 911 from the bedroom.
It's just one of those, like, this is my moment. And so I jumped out of the bedroom and I pushed him down the stairs.
Kevin says the man fell all the way to the bottom, knocking some pictures off the wall and leaving a dent in the molding. He took this video as police arrived minutes later while the man laid on the floor.
Put your hands up. No, the police are trying to...
The man eventually went peacefully into custody. All he took from the home was a fall decoration from the porch.
We did find the freezer was open. He left the chicken nuggets alone. He left the waffles alone.
While the family was given quite a scare, they're glad it wasn't worse.
We're just thankful that everyone is okay.
Yeah.
He was arrested twice. Twice in the last.
Yeah, execute
year.
the people that allow that.
Well, how about this? This 3 children and a father were killed in a crash on Highway 83. Put up this article if you would. Man responsible for Highway 83 crash that killed 5 at a lengthy criminal history. So again, we sniff butts. We don't want to talk about what's true. We don't want to talk about the reality. This guy had stolen the car literally an hour earlier. And he has a lengthy criminal record dating back to 2013. Walter Huling was the man driving the stolen Toyota Matrix that he basically threw someone out of the car, lost control, and slammed into a Ford sedan oncoming lane. Huling was killed along with 4 people in the sedan, including 3 children. The victim killed in the sedan were identified as 35-year-old father Alvin Corrado, Toretto Corrado, 8, Maliki Corrado, 12, and Jason Green, 12. Hailing an only deceased party in the crowd not identified with law enforcement said they did say that the Toyota Matrix was reported stolen from RTD's 9 Mile station in Aurora roughly an hour before the crash. The victim of the theft said a man pulled her from her car and drove away. She refused to give him a ride. Court documents show Holing had a long criminal history, including 2 stints in prison for the Colorado Department of Corrections. It's an 11-page criminal history, dates back when the guy was a juvenile, says George Brockler, district attorney for the 23rd district where the accident occurred. How about that? This is what Kyle Clark would not talk about. He doesn't talk about the fact that under the watch of the radical left, that the entire state of Colorado has become victimized by people like Kyle.
Yeah, execute those responsible.
It's got
let me be clear. This has taken me years to get to this point. For years, I've tried to dance around and blah, blah, blah. It's become very clear that there is no answer. These are evil people who are doing evil things. And if they're not doing evil things, they're letting evil people go who do evil things. Execute them. I'm not someone that's like quick to this. That's been, I think, the primary complaint from a lot of people that watch my show over the years is I've tiptoed around it. There is no other answer. Put them down like the dogs they are. Because if you don't, that guy, how many times can you roll that dice before, the guy comes out and kicks the guy down the stairs? How many times does that happen where that doesn't happen? Where he shoots the husband, rapes the mom and shoots the kids. Or rapes the kids and shoots the mom. Execute those that are allowing this to happen.
All right. Well, we live to see another day, but I hope that President Trump does something soon, because it's there's a lot to talk about. There's even more that we have to kind of pray about. But I do believe that President Trump is waiting for us to get in the middle so we can support him in this endeavor to kind of change things or turn things around.
Agreed.
All right. Thanks for coming on. It's good to have Joe on. Although I didn't think that we wanted to throw the book at President Trump.
Do what?
I don't want to throw the book at President Trump. I just want him to do something.
No, ultimately, I think I came down on that. No, I want him, but I think it's also you're allowed to express anger or impatience. Because these aren't hypotheticals. These are real things happening, and there's real implications to not acting.
Yeah, like you mean what happened in 2020 when they killed millions of Americans?
Yes.
Yeah, that actually happened. Diabolical.
Yes.
Diabolical. You want to pray us out?
Sure. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. I think, Lord, per what Joe and I talked about today, is allow the president, or please inform the president, or nudge along that I don't think anyone doubts the weight of the world that's on his shoulders. And again, it's very easy for me or Joe or both of us to sit here and to criticize. But ultimately, something has to be done. And I would imagine it is no different than Harry Truman weighing on his shoulders and probably crushing his mind every second of every day. Whatever the answer is, if it's not weakness and complicity, which I don't think it is, I think he knows what he has to do. And it's probably a horrible thing. And I pray that you guide his hand, that you guide my hand, that you guide Joe's hand, and deliver us from this. And that, ultimately, not that you don't know this God, that I think the vast majority of us are trying our hardest. And it's not easy. But I pray that you guide him. Above all else, guide the president. If you got to take guidance away from us, we can shoulder it. Well, we can go. Joe and I can navigate the world for a bit without you. It'll be hard, but if you need to focus your guidance on one man, do it on the president so that this world can continue. Because it is a beautiful world, and I do enjoy it. Amen.
Amen.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
All right, Tommy, thanks for joining us, brother.
Thank you for having me on.
It's going to be good. It's good. Thank you all for joining.
It was a spicy episode.
Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. We are going to be on Roku here very shortly and got a bunch of other things that we're working on as well. So it's going to be pretty great. Remember to go ahead and share. And, we will see you on the other side tomorrow with Brad. Brad will be on tomorrow. All right. God bless you. See you, Tommy.
All right. Thank you so much.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the